What's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 7 of What If Naruto had Madara sealed inside of him at birth. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Awakened His Memories and Powers at the Land of Waves, so go ahead, check out that and enjoy guys. I also posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto was Isekai into the Konosuba world, so go ahead and enjoy that guys. I also posted a brand new series of What If Naruto Fuse, with a new tail beast over an anime prince guys, so go ahead and enjoy that. If you're new, yes I indeed have 4 channels, which I post What If on every single day. Yes, you heard that correctly, every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and smash that red subscribe button and become a part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking about to all of you. So without further ado, what do you say we jump right into this new episode? Begin now guys. So the last spot we left off, Naruto invited Hinata over towards the Uchiha compound for dinner, as Hinata didn't want to crush his hopes and him inviting her over, but Hayashi would never go for something like that, but Naruto encouraged her, and he had this look in his eyes that made her, she didn't know why, but recently every time she talked to him, every time he got really close, her cheeks became a bit red. And now it was happening at full force. She could not tell him no, she didn't want to disappoint him, so she agreed. Neji overheard this as he arrived, as he asked her if she was crazy. Hayashi-sama would never agree to something like that. Later that night, Naruto was so happy as he went to sleep, as Madara and the fox was discussing something within his mind. Madara said that the Uchihas will fall very soon, as the village was gonna turn against them just like they did him and the Senjus. Every time a clan got too powerful, the village always seemed to make a move, and that ended bad for the clans. Madara said that he was going to use Naruto's body to become the ultimate being, as a fox said that the kid would never hurt his home or the people that he cared about. However, Madara simply laughed as he had an idea. He had an idea. However, he would not share that with the fox. As for Hinata the next day, she had to psych herself up at least 100 times before she entered Hayashi's study, as she spoke to him calmly first before she told him what she wanted to do. She kept on not saying who invited her over until Hayashi told her that she was not answering the question, so she told him. He slammed his hand down with tremendous force and told her to leave. However, she got angry at him and she told him that he was not her father and she was going. As she made her point clear, if looks could kill, she would be dead, as the look that he gave her when she left was a rather dreadful one. Hinata came over later that day. The Uchiha guard had nothing problem with her, but he couldn't just let her in until Naruto arrived. Seeing that everything was okay, the guard let her in. The Uchiha compound was not what she expected. It was quite a surprising view, as she was invited to the home. Mikoto greeted her warmly there, as Hinata was not expecting them to be so sweet. Even the head of the Uchiha was nice as well, that being Fukaku. She was surprised by how they treated her so nicely. It was different from how she was treated by Hayashi. Far different. Some time passed after that. Yaiko was looking down towards a war that plagued Kiri. He was still on his mission to gather a member from each of the villages, until a boy attacked him as he defended himself. The boy apologized after he realized that he wasn't supposed to be here, as he wasn't a part of this war. The boy then made his way as Yaiko watched him. He was a prodigy, a powerful person that possessed the bone pulse technique, one of the greatest that he's ever seen. As the boy clan had been massacred, all the Kaguyas were killed in the battle, leaving only him. Yaiko gave him something to latch onto, a dream of hope. As the boy accepted. Months passed after that as Naruto was keeping his charade up of pretending to be the weakest in the class. Naruto noticed that there was some changes with Hinata. Ever since the whole dinner thing, she's been acting a bit different. As something happened after she had returned back to the compound though. As Naruto tried to be there more for her as her friend, and speak to her as he pretended to be the dead last in the class, even skipping class Aruka sending Chunin to go and find him, as Naruto was trying his best to pretending to be the loser in the class. As many people were suspicious of his skills, those being Shikamaru, and also Shino as well, as they doubt that Naruto was what he said that he was. As Hinata was going on to be the best of the grade, Sasuke was being the best at physically everything. So yes, it was going along well. That was when news broke that a very powerful man from the Hidden killed the former Raikage. The former Raikage never wanted to deal with Konoha, so Hiruzen thought that this might be an opportunity for them to get an alliance with the village and change things up. The man that had killed the Raikage turned himself in afterwards. Now that was rather surprising. Yaiko believed that he would prove a next associate to the Akatsuki that he was building, so he decided to go and have a meeting with this man. So yeah guys, basically let's play off you guys again, switch across the play, check it out for yourself. So what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode, don't wasting more time. Begin now guys. A big smile was on Naruto's face as he dove into the bowl of ramen. Shisui chuckled as he dove into his. Are you two ever gonna learn any manners? A caring female voice said ahead of them. As Shisui looked up, he picked up the napkin. Sorry, Mom, he said, as he folded it neatly and placed it under his chin. I'll try to be neater next time. As the woman simply laughed at his antics. She was Ayam, the 15-year-old daughter of Toki Ichiraku, the owner of the popular ramen bar. She has been serving Shisui ramen ever since she was 5. When she was younger, she adored cooking and always dreamed to take over the ramen bar. She wanted to create even a bigger restaurant, as her father taught her all the secrets since she could walk. And when she was 5, she became his personal assistant at the ramen bar. Her first bowl of ramen that she ever made and served was a special day for her, and it was a special day for Shisui as well. Shisui loved ramen, though he had first discovered it when he was 5 as well. After training, he had stopped by the nearest food source, which was a ramen bar, and he asked for a bowl of pork ramen. Toki had looked toward the starving boy, as he figured he could take food out of the trash and Shisui would eat it up. So he figured that it was a good practice for Ayam to make and serve her first bowl to a customer. Well, Ayam did make it and she served it to Shisui, who devoured it in a minute. He loved it and he came back every day, requesting ramen from her. As a child, the girl has used a stool to get her head above the counter back then. Shisui could count the stars in the sky, then count how much time he's been here. And he figured that since he and Naruto had similar tastes, he would love it as well. However, according to the blonde, he liked it even more than Shisui did, which was a shock. Shisui swore that more than half of his income went into the ramen. Know that Naruto liked this stuff as well. Shouldn't you be in class, Naruto-chan? Ayam asked. As Naruto shrugged, maybe. I might have a couple of mints or two. Ayam laughed lightly, finding Naruto's plans funny. He planned to be the dead last, how could that not be funny? Shisui shook his head as he looked towards the imaginary watch on his wrists. Naruto, as your future sensei, I cannot stress how important punctuality is for a mission. You're going to class right now, mister. Naruto groaned as he slumped his head on the counter. You're not even my sensei yet, Shisui. And you're not my dad either. Can't I wait a bit longer? Ayam, can't you make me another bowl? Please? She said in a thinking pose. I don't know. Your father did say you should go to class. And I think you should too. Shisui is not my dad, he's my brother, said Naruto. And he can't tell me to go to class, said Naruto. Shisui laughed as he ruffled his voice. Come on now, son, he said. Listen to your mother now. Naruto banged his head on the counter, annoyed with this parent game that they were playing. Well, dear, I'm off to drop our little pumpkin off at school, Shisui said, giving Ayam a wink as she stifled back her laughter. I'll come and pick you up later. We can do mom and dad stuff later. Ayam's cheeks grew rosy red as Shisui laughed, loving that look. As he chuckled, I'm kidding. Alright, Naruto. Let's go now. Say goodbye to your mother, he said. Naruto got up as he dusted himself off. Bye, Mom, he said. Shisui leaned in towards Ayam as he pointed towards his cheek. "Come on, honey," he said. "Don't I get a goodbye kiss?" Her face became incredibly red. However, she leaned over and kissed him on the cheek. He pumped his fist in the air. "Sweet," he said, as he walked over towards Naruto. "Let's go." As he grabbed a hold of Naruto's jacket and flashed away in the sunshine, Ayam was left alone blushing. Later that day, Naruto woke up wiping his eyes. He glanced towards the test that was in front of him. He was smart, incredibly so. This material was just so beneath him. What was the name of the first Hokage? Sarutobi, Madara Uchiha, Hoshirama Senju, or none of the above? He need to get a 51 to pass the test. And there was 35 questions on the test. So he need to at least answer 18 correctly. He loved to push Iruka rules to the limit, as he always scored so close to 51 but not above it. "You should circle in B, Madara Uchiha," his thoughts said to him. As Naruto nodded to himself, "Yeah, just get it over with quickly," he thought. "No, you should circle B because that is what should have been the right answer." No, Naruto said to himself. Hoshirama was the right answer. What was he even thinking? Hoshirama did not deserve it, he told himself. Yeah, he did. He unified the clans together to create Konoha, using his Mokidan jutsu to make Konoha. He was also able to collect all the bijus. "He's an incredible leader," said Naruto, arguing with himself. Madara could also contain the bijus as well. Also, look what happened to Hoshirama, he died, and so did his clan. How is that a good leader? That's not entirely true. Hinata is still alive, she's a Senju. She and her mother were the only one to live. Actually, that's not true. There was one more who managed to avoid death. And there was also that slug who deserted Konoha before this even happened. I guess that only means 4 Senju survived the massacre. Hinata, her mother, Tsunade, and him. What am I thinking, Naruto thought. He didn't even know this stuff. 4 Senjus? He thought Hinata was the last one. It was brutal. I warned them that it will happen, and they called me a fool. They deserve what happened to them. Hinata was lucky her mother survived. Perhaps her father was to thank for that. He really needed to drink some more water or something. He was thinking such weird thoughts. What was going on? Wait a second, his inner voice said that Hoshirama died. But Madara was dead as well. Maybe, but maybe not. What did that mean? Madara was confirmed to be dead. You're in for a big surprise later on. And by the way, 35 seconds. What? 35 seconds. What does that mean? Naruto asked his thoughts. 30 seconds, Iruka called out. Naruto's head shot up. Shit, he thought to himself. How long had he been talking to himself? He zoomed through the test, answering the 18 questions. Alright, and in your test now. Naruto shook his head. Why the hell was he thinking like that? He did not know. Later that night, Itachi stood in front of the gates of Konoha, clad in his mask and his full armor. He had discarded his captain robes for this mission. He did not want to get in the way. He had the Anvu vest on and a katana on his back, and everything else. Turning behind him, he looked towards the group that he assembled. Kakashi Hatake was present. The lazy 21-year-old elite, who was planning on dropping out of Anvu and becoming a Jonin soon. Tenso, the strong 20-year-old who possessed the power of Mokidan, and as well as Anvu Aburami, the only Aburami that was a part of the organization. Lastly, he brought Shisui as well. Shisui by far was the most important member on the team. With his ability of hypnosis, he'll be able to convince the Raikage to sign the peace treaty, should he not agree with it at first. With his team, he will travel to Kumo and present the Raikage with a peace treaty. Of course, they sent a messenger hawk to notify him of this earlier, so he would not be surprised of them just showing up. Delivering something as important as peace treaty was delivered by a person, by a ninja high status, so of course Itachi was chosen. Perhaps the journey would be fun. If they made it on time, they would also be able to attend the trial of the man who killed the previous Raikage. Apparently, the assassin had somehow turned himself in. Itachi was confused and surprised by that. Alright team, Itachi said. They were all wearing the Anvu mask, even Shisui was wearing his retired one. We will begin to travel in sunshine bursts. If we maintain a correct speed, we should arrive in Kumo by daybreak, just in time for the important trial. Follow me carefully and watch for any enemies along the way. Let's move. As all of them nodded before, they shot off. Time skip, Haigu compound. Hinata fell over as she hit the ground with force. Ever since she had went against Hayashi's words, her life has become a living hell. Hayashi would train her each day, to the point where she could no longer stand, just like now. I'm disappointed in your skill level. Neji is showing more talent than you right now, and he's of the branch family. Hinata coughed as she slowly stand to her feet. Sorry, Hayashi-sama, she said, as she was barely able to think straight. The thought of her bed, the nice soft bed, couldn't leave her mind. How much longer will this training continue? When will it end? Neji frowned darkly as he sat at the end of the dojo. He hated Hayashi's gut for what he was doing to Hinata, but he could do so little to help her but his mouth open. Hayashi-sama, he spoke. I believe that Hinata would benefit from more. Good night rest now, he said. She should retire for the smack. Neji's head was thrown sideways as Hayashi appeared before him and backslapped him hard. You will not tell me what to do, branch member. He shouted down at Neji. What I do with Hinata is my decision only. The next time you speak to me like that, it will be your last. I will activate your seal so hard, you will remember it for the rest of your days. With that he turned. You're dismissed, Hinata. As he walked out, as he paused at the entrance, you seem pathetic today, and training you anymore would be a waste of my time. She was unable to respond. It took all of her energy to remain standing. By the time he was gone, she fell, but Neji called her. Thank you, Neji, she said. Before he could say anything back, she fell asleep. Neji frowned as he picked her up bridal style. He don't know how long she would be able to withstand Hayashi's brutal training. He knew that Hayashi would be upset with Hinata friendship with Naruto, but he did not know that he would take his anger out on her so much. He brought her to her room and laid her down, hoping the best for her. The next morning, Kumo. He sighed as he looked down towards his hands. Chakra suppression seals on the shackles. Was there even any point of the trial? He had turned himself in after all. Perhaps this was just a way to humiliate him in front of the village, so that those who missed the Raikage could see his killer. Not that anyone would miss that bastard. He couldn't help but feel so complete after killing him. His life was basically over now that the man was dead. He had no reason to live. He would not kill himself, so why not let Kumo do it for him? She would hate him for doing it, but it did not matter. At least he would see her again. He sat alone in a small prison, with only a slit in the wall that allowed sunshine to enter. His rough and unkempt black hair fell over his face, giving him a crazy look. He was covered in dirt and blood, which was smeared against his already dark skin. Seals were placed all over the walls. Chains anchored in the walls were attached to his shackles. Had he wanted to escape, it would certainly be difficult. Why would they take so much time to contain someone who turned themselves in anyways? The force was always around him. It didn't matter how much seals were there to disrupt it. He could always connect to the force. That was one thing he taught himself how to do years ago. Damn, that made him sound old. He was only 20 years old for comic sake. But life had been long enough for him as it was. He glanced down towards a pebble that was in front of him. Upon mere will, the small rock started to levitate as it came up to eye level. Second later, other rocks started to float up towards it, remaining perfectly still in the air. He did not need his hands to control his element. He was too talented for that. As long as he had enough chakra to keep his heart beating, he could bend reality around him at his will. He had come a long way from a simple street magician to #1 wanted criminal within the village. He wondered what everyone that knew him thought now, those who had scorned him and thought he was nothing. They wouldn't even be able to look at him now. In fact, disturbance, he felt it. It was little, but enough to disturb the natural wave of chakra in the building. He looked up, squinting his eyes to adjust the low lighting. A mysterious man stepped out of the shadows, only his lower half illuminated by the light. He could tell that the man was wearing a long dark robe. It also had a pattern on it. Red clouds. Riezo. Ah, so this man knew him as well. He still didn't understand how the man entered the prison so quickly. All of Kumo ninjas were around the place, and seals were everywhere, and ordinary sunshine would not work at all. Born as a peasant, the son of a carpenter, you were unable to join the ninja academy because you needed to make money for you and your father. You were special, ever since you were young. Much ninjas here have lightning as a base chakra, but you had something different, something much stronger, and rare. Force. I have yet to see another ninja with that power. The chance of having force, the sixth and rarest elements, as your main affinity, is the same chance of being born with the Sharingan and not being related to the Uchiha at all. You discover your power yourself and you use it for common street magic. When your father died when you were 5, you had to use it as a full-time job to support yourself. Surprisingly, you were able to befriend the daughter of the Raikage himself. And she taught you the basics of ninja art as you mesmerized her with your magic. Apparently, your relationship was too close to the Raikage, and he forbid you from seeing her again. You left Kumo for several years, honing your skills. Eventually you returned, reuniting with the Raikage daughter once more. One night, the Raikage found you too, and ended up killing her. In return, you killed him. An honorable story in my opinion. Riezo had dropped all the stones. Who are you? He said, surprised by this man knowing so much. The man then finally stepped forward as Riezo saw him. The man was young, if not younger than him. He had orange hair, but his eyes were what truly fascinated Riezo. Riezo knew a bit about those eyes, the Rinnegan. This guy was not a joke. Names are not needed just yet. Riezo was put off a bit as a voice came from behind him. Somehow, the person appeared behind him passing through the seals, which should not be possible. Your mind is well guarded, Yaiko said, causing Riezo to frown. What did he mean by that? I understand your past, yet I do not know this. Why turn yourself in? Riezo chuckled quietly to himself. He would turn around, but the chains, they restrict his movement. Because there is no reason for escape. Where would I escape to? Why would I escape? What would I do? It's too troublesome for me. I've lived my life and fulfilled my God-given purpose. Everything else is just extra. Yaiko nodded, smirking to himself. Perhaps you have not yet fulfilled your goals. Perhaps you haven't yet found your purpose. What if I told you I could give you a purpose? At best, I would laugh in your face. And if you persisted, I would attack you. But as you can see, I'm in no mood to laugh. And also, I can't really move. You could if you wanted to, Yaiko said, appearing outside the prison again. I don't have time, people are coming, but consider my offer. You can use your powers to help bring peace to the world. You will be able to prevent hundreds of others from going through what you had to go through. Think what she would do in your place. Riezo got annoyed with this person. Don't act like you know her. You did not. You may be able to read my mind somehow, but you did not know anything about her. Riezo stopped shouting as he realized no one was there to shout at. A second later, a ninja entered his line of vision. It seems our prisoner is losing his mind, he said. Shortly after, several more appear, all looking down towards him. Be careful, guys, this one is actually crazy. He was able to kill Raikage-sama. One of the other one laughed, turning to the other that said, There's no need to refer to that bastard as Sam anymore. He's dead. I personally don't blame you, Riezo, but still, you killed the Raikage and by law. We will have to trial and execute you. Otherwise, we will have dictatorship in Kumo. Riezo tuned them out as the words echo in his mind. A new purpose, peace to the world. What would she do? Damn. Just when he thought he was sure about dying, this guy shows up and make everything so complicated. Time skip. On the outside of Kumo, Itachi and his group wait amongst the giant crowd. Spread out amongst the crowd, hidden away from any potential enemies. Kumo were a rather interesting village. There were buildings built literally into the side of the mountain. Another thing was, a lot of people here had dark skin. Something Itachi never saw outside of Kumo. They were currently on one of the large areas, where most was waiting outside the Kage's tower. Every inhabitants, they were watching the trial of the murder, and the inauguration of the next Raikage. After waiting for a good 15 minutes, the door finally opened up. As all chatter ceased, suddenly ninjas dressed in Jonin vests start to pile out of the door. At least 10 of them. Then 3 Anvu men came out as well. And then finally a dark-skinned man with dark hair and dark outfit walked out slowly. His hands were chained together with chains and seals. Itachi had his Sharingan activated, but he didn't need to see the amount of chakra suppression that was present. The crowd started murmuring loudly. This guy had to be the assassin. After he came out, several others followed him. The trial then begun. Itachi just could not wrap his mind around how the man had actually turned himself in. As the trial progressed, he admitted to everything, making it going along rather easy. Surely he knew the penalty of assassin Kage was death. May I ask, why Konoha, Anvu captain, is present for the inauguration? Itachi turned to see a man dressed in strange robes with orange hair. He was the one that asked the question. That would be classified information, Itachi said. This man, why did he look so familiar? And he also knew that he was the captain of the Anvu. Itachi was not wearing his mask to draw attention to himself. The man nodded his head. He was taller than Itachi. But then again, Itachi was only 15. You seem to be quite young. I wouldn't expect the leader of the Anvu to be this young. The man spoke, but his eyes were focused on the prisoner. Strange. It seems like the man had almost read his thoughts. But then again, he wasn't that old either. Age means little in the ninja world. Powerful Kages can be both old and young. The man nodded. That is very true. The fourth Kage of your village was quite young. Now your Kage seem aged. I will also reference that the Toshikage is very old, while the Amikage is very young as well. You have potential, but so does Riezo. I'm very interested to find out how we killed the Raikage. I doubt that they will tell us that at this trial, Itachi said. No, I will merely ask him when this is done. Itachi wondered if the guy was joking, but he was completely serious. The trial ended and Riezo was convicted to be a dead man, as he was escorted back into the building. He would die a non-public death later today. Shortly after, a hulking muscular man walked out. He stopped beside Riezo for a moment and they exchanged a word before he passed him. This man was definitely new Kage. Itachi turned towards the orange hair man beside him, but he was gone. He had vanished without Itachi even knowing. That frightened Itachi extremely. Itachi was able to sense when people use sunshine and leaf. What just happened? Suddenly he sensed a flash of chakra. To prove its point, he sensed Shisui. What's up, Itachi? Shisui asks. I saw that guy that you were talking with. Now that I think about it, doesn't he remind you of the Amikage that fought Hanzo years ago? Itachi's eyes widened as he then realized, no way. Elsewhere, Riezo was led to another containment room as he was thrown in. The door was slammed behind him. This was it, he would die soon. Everything was coming to an end, yet he didn't feel as satisfied as he thought he would. Rejoining her, he was looking forward to that. However, after talking to that orange hair man, he frowned. Before he could even utter next thoughts, it would be a shame to waste a talent such as yours, Yaiko said. Lean up against the wall of the room. The world needs you. I don't need the world, Riezo said. I've had enough. Perhaps you haven't experienced what I have yet. Only when you gone through real pain, you will experience what I feel. The room darkened as Yaiko Rinnegan eyes looked at the man. You and I are on the same level. We both have experienced pain, and that is what makes us strong. Riezo shook his head. Until you lost the one person in the world that you care about, your words don't mean shit. Yaiko nodded as he understood what this man meant. I still live for the one I love. I protect her, and we protect our ideals together. You may have lost the one that you love, but you can still protect our ideals. You can still shape the world. Riezo shook his head. As he did not want to think about this, he tried to block it out as the chains on his hand snapped, releasing him. That was impossible. Unless I have interest in chakra, just like yours, Yaiko said. Though mine is much stronger. You are undoubtedly powerful, but I can train you. Join me, and I... Yaiko stopped talking as he was thrown into the wall, without Riezo moving an inch. As Yaiko recovered, Riezo got to his feet as he loosened his shoulder, annoyance on his face. I am not interested, and you're overconfident. I doubt that you're even stronger than... Riezo was now thrown as he smashed into the wall. He was held by the throat. All he could see was a spiraling Rinnegan. I have no doubt that I'm stronger than you. You are but a mere man, and I am a god. If you will not listen, then I will force you to come, and you will think about it. The last thing Riezo saw was a spiral of the man's eyes before he was pulled into unconsciousness. Meanwhile, Itachi stood in front of the new Raikage Dex. As he signed the piece of paper, the treaty was accepted. There will be no war between Konoha and Kumo. The mission was a success. I'm glad that you decided to sign the treaty. Our Hokage will be pleased to... Raikage-sama! Itachi was interrupted as someone rushed inside. Riezo! He's escaped! Time skip. About 2 years later, Naruto was starting to get concerned with his inner thoughts. Over the years, the mere thoughts in his mind has been changed into an actual voice that was now speaking to him. What surprised him even more was that the voice was that of a man, and it was not his own. The voice had become stronger and stronger over the past years. The voice had knowledge that he did not know about, that he never learned. But he would not go to the hospital and say that he had voice in his head. That would remove him from the shinobi career and place him in a room with padded walls. Yes, sadly, this village would shun any potential for true power. And having a voice in my head, that is true power, Naruto thought back. Shaking his head in annoyance, Naruto looked down from the building that he was sitting on. In the crowded street, Naruto could see Hinata and Sasuke walk into class together, which made him smile. It had taken a while, but he was glad that the both of them had befriended each other. It made everything so much simpler. Yo, Naruto. As Naruto turned, was surprised to see his friend Shikamaru standing behind him, his hands behind his head. Are you going to class today? It starts in 3 minutes. Naruto smiled as he shrugged as he looked down below. Maybe, but first I thought I'd stop by the ramen stand, and then the library or something. Shikamaru knew that Naruto was much smarter than he appeared to be in class, but still, library? Iruka would never look for me there, and I'll be able to get ahead on what we're learning in class. Shikamaru shook his head. Troublesome. Maybe you want to join me, said Naruto. Shikamaru smiled with a shrug as he nodded his head, as they made their way towards the ramen stand. Meanwhile, inside of Naruto's subconscious, yes. This village does scorn the potential for power, Madara said out loud. But this seal is slowly draining our power. Soon they won't be able to ignore us. Soon he will become too powerful to why? The booming voice of the fox said, Why do you wish for a host to be powerful? Madara chuckled. Its power will cause Konoha to hate him, and it will cause him to hate Konoha. A massacre is coming, the Uchiha days are over. Their days on the earth are counting down so quickly. I'm hoping sooner than later. That way Naruto will be more affected by the death of all of his family, and he will be listening to me. To detest this village. Fool. He will not detest the village as the last Uchiha. The village is what will be keeping him sane. Not at all. The Uchiha is the only reason why. The village has not killed the boy yet. They hate him, but they cannot touch him while he wears the crest of the Uchiha. But when the Uchiha are no more, he will be seen as nothing more than a child that wore the symbol without the bloodline or the power. They will do all they can to hurt him. In so many ways, they're helping me achieve what I want. Every time Konoha pushes him away, it's one step closer for him to destroy it. His power will be their main excuse, I'm sure of it. Villages don't like having S-rank ninjas. As soon as they reach S-rank status, they become a threat to the safety of the village. In most cases, I would agree with them. It is very hard to reach the level of S-rank with a sane mind. Most who reach that level have a mental damage. Small villages like the grass kicks out any S-rank ninja because they don't have the military force to control them anymore. When Konoha recognizes power, they will try to push him away, especially when the Uchihas are massacred. I will control his hatred from them. I will make him want to leave the village. I will make him want to destroy it. And in time, we rid this world of the corrupt system. A council that is willing to wipe out the entire clan, with innocent people and children. That type of council needs to be destroyed. This village needs to be burned in the darkest of flames, where it can then be reborn in the ashes. I see. You wish for him to become the leader, so that you can control him. Absolutely not. Not until he has a power that he will have to steal. Then my plan will be set in place. Only when he takes that power my plan will begin. That power, the fox said. You can't possibly think. Madara nodded, cutting him off. Yes, only with that power the world can be changed. And only with that power my destiny will be fulfilled. Naruto would gain that power. Time skip. Neji sat on the other side of the dojo as he watched Hinata train. She has just gotten back from the academy. Hayashi insists on training her further. Most of the kids her age will be outside enjoying their childhood, but not Hinata. Neji wondered, would he rather have the Byakugan or have a rather normal childhood? To his surprise, it was not an easy question. Over the past years, Hinata has been staying here. Hayashi had been training her ruthlessly. However, his methods were not a waste. Hinata was in the 3rd year of the academy now. Neji was positive that she was the 2nd strongest in the class. Hell, she was stronger than majority of the Genins that he knew. Her attacks were fluid and swift. When Hayashi tried to strike her down, she mostly swifter in his attacks, gaining light on her feet, sometimes surprising Hayashi. But because she did not have the Byakugan, her Jayugen was inefficient. So instead of hitting the hundreds of chakra points, she had to go off memory as she would hit the largest point on Hayashi. As while she could not shut your system off entirely, the chakra points were the same as the pressure points, so she could partially paralyze someone. She had struck him several times in training and his leg and his arms are falling limp. Whenever he watched her practice, he always was on edge. It was hard for him to keep his cool. She had become something of a sister to him, and every session with Hayashi would leave her at a weakened point. She was only 10 years old. He didn't know how long she would be able to take this kind of training. He flinched as her attack was slapped aside as she was kicked away from Hayashi. Very good, Hayashi said. Come at me again. Without hesitation, she got up as she rushed towards him, determination in her eyes. When she was in range, she spun around his kick and strike at his chest. When Hayashi slapped her hand away, she spun again, maintaining her momentum. As she struck at his chest once again from another opening, Hayashi continued to dodge her as he was slowly pushed back on the defensive. Neji was impressed. Hinata's attack was nearly flawless, it had improved so much. However, as she lashed out, Hayashi lashed out with his 2 fingers and struck her on the wrist, hitting a very important chakra point. Hinata flinched as her hand pulled back as tears brimmed in her eyes. Chakra points being closed were not a very good feeling, especially the major ones. She was in too much pain, and now that she couldn't use her right hand anymore, Hayashi held his hand back and Neji could see the amount of chakra poured into it with his Byakugan. He was gonna strike Hinata with the Jayugen. He had to do something. Neji stood, however, a hand rested on his shoulder. He turned to see his father, Hisashi. "Relax, Neji," he said. "Do not interfere." As Neji's eyes turned back towards Hinata, she was able to dodge the first hard strike, which was good, but the rest of them land. As she was left like a doll, collapsing down, her puppet string cut. He finally stopped hitting her as he exhaled. "Practice over," he said. "Your offense is commendable, but your defense is only relying on the ability speed to maneuver around my attacks. From now on, we will work on how you must block the attacks." With that, he left the room without even acknowledging that his brother was standing there. The moment he was gone, Neji was over. "Thanks, Neji," she said. She fell asleep in his arms, exhausted. Later, Hinata quietly lied down in her garden outside, several hours after her training with Hayashi. She had just showered and cleaned herself, and she still had most of the evening in front of her. Hours before dinner, she found herself more and more attracted to her garden that she had created, as she used to spend hours out here most of the times, relaxing. When she lied on her back and spread out against the flowers and trees, she felt so wonderful. "Hello, Hinata-sama." She sat up as she looked to see Hisashi with a tray of tea. She stood up immediately to greet him, but he simply waved her off and told her to sit. As she sat down, as she called him Sama. "Come on, Hinata. You don't have to refer to me as Sama," he said to her. "Sorry, Hisashi-san," she said. He smiled at her, pouring her some tea. "That's much better," he said. Hisashi may be Hayashi's brother, but the only thing that made him similar was their looks. Their attitude was completely different. She would have loved if Hisashi was the one in control, but that was not meant to be. "Here you go," he said, handing her a cup of tea, as she thanked him and started drinking silence. You know, Hayashi didn't always used to be cold. Her eyes widened at that. He had a beautiful wife that used to be even nicer, and back then, the clan used to be a much better place to live in. However, ever since his wife died, he really changed. I can't really blame him for changing. He really loved his wife. But still, that does not give him the right to treat you badly. I just want you to know, we care about you, Hinata. Neji and I, you've really become like family to us. You're really kind and caring, and you don't let the fact that you're in the main branch go to your head. We appreciate that, especially Neji, even though it's his born duty to protect you. He does it really because he hates seeing you get hurt. Hinata was touched that he cared for her. They really were her family. Just like how Naruto had gotten a family at the Uchihas. These two, they were her family. Time skip. Yaiko sat on his throne as he looked towards the people in front of him. The ring that was inscribed with 0. Akatsuki, the new dawn, was growing, but it was still small. His group, including himself, only had 5 members as of now. He gave them all a member number, with the ring as the member number was inscribed on it. The rings meant much more than that, but he did not need to inform them until the organization was complete. If his plans went accordingly, he would become the leader of all villages. In order to do that, he would need a strong military force, but that wasn't only the basis of the Akatsuki. After he became leader of all, despite all the power he would have, he wouldn't be omnipotent. He couldn't be there all at once, so he would assign different members to be there as sub-leaders of the different villages. The 5 main ones and smaller ones like the grass. And he also wanted every single ninja of the country under his control. And for that he needed the Akatsuki members once more. He will be the ultimate leader and they will be his captains. Ninjas such as Jonins and Chonins will report to their design Akatsuki Teiko, their captain, who would in return report to him. To combine their powers as a whole, he would need captains. There was too many talented ninjas out there, and there was no way that he can oversee all of them. Akatsuki could not grow large only under him. It needed sub-leaders, which his captains would be. That way, his peace would not only stop by Japan. Perhaps if he was able to create peace here, he could create peace in the entire world. There had to be a reason he was chosen to have the Rinnegan. The Sage of Six Paths was able to create peace for Japan. What if he created peace for the entire world? He knew that there was wars out in a different part of the world. Japan wasn't the only country with skilled fighters. He knew for a fact that China had martial artists who could bend the elements to their will without the use of hand signs. He knew that there was those in further Europe who used sorcery and magic, basically a special form of chakra, not through seals but through waving wands. He knew on the other side of the world there was warriors who fire special projectiles that were faster than the blink of an eye. There were assassins in the Middle East that could kill in the flash of an eye. No, Japan wasn't the only talented nation with powerful warriors, and it wasn't only the nation in war either. Perhaps if he could bring peace to Japan and represent the country as a leader, then perhaps. He shook his head. He needed to bring peace to his own country first, which wasn't easy. He already had 5 in the organization. He had Conan, himself, Kimimaro, Riezo, and a ninja that he found recently from the sand, who was named Sorcery. Sorcery, with a kanji for 4 in his ring, had been a great addition to the organization. He had deserted the sand and betrayed his village. Yaiko had searched through his mind to find out that he was the one that was actually betrayed. His parents had died at a young age and Sorcery had taken a ninja job as a puppeteer, but he was extremely more ambitious than all the others in the sand. He had spent most of his teenager years inventing new puppets techniques. His most ambitious project was to revive the dead through puppetry, while others thought that he was crazy sorcery, just want a way to revive his dead parents. The sand had rejected that, calling him a monster, and they banished him for that. Sorcery had gone out in a bang using his skills to kill the strongest Kazekage in their history, the 3rd Kazekage, and left without anyone knowing. So submerged in puppetry, he turned himself into a puppet. But no one but himself and Yaiko knew this. While others thought of him as a freak, Yaiko admires dedication. He cleared his mind as he looked towards the members in front of him, all sitting in seat. It is time for us to recruit more members, he said. For the past 2 years I have focused on bringing out the talent of Kimimaro, who's only 10 but has reached the rank of a S-rank ninja, and also train Riezo, and find Sorcery. Each of them nodded as they were adorning their outfit. However, when Sorcery joined, he made a change. On the back of their cloak was the kanji for the number that they wore. On the back of Yaiko's was 0. I do not think that my time is wasted, but it is time that we increase our numbers. We still need members from the Hidden Stone and Konoha, as well as other villages that produce S-rank ninjas. I will personally recruit each member with the assistance of you all. Though if you have any information on possible recruits, please inform me. The first one that spoke was Riezo. Yeah, I've heard of a powerful guy, he said, as the others looked towards him. Riezo was tall, dark-skinned from Kumo, dark hair, as he was wearing sunglasses. The kanji for 3 was on his ring and the back of his outfit as well. The right Kage would always compare himself to other Kages and even those from the past. When he was talking about the first Hokage, he described a man who attacked the first, but he failed to kill him. I guess that this guy was banished from his main village, Taki I think, because he failed to assassinate the Hokage. I have no idea where this guy is, but if he was strong enough to fight the legendary first Hokage and live, and if he's alive right now, he's worth the search. Yaiko nodded. That's a good idea, Riezo. I trust you and your skills to find this man and convince him to join the organization. Will you find him? Riezo shrugged. Sure. I don't know how long it will take, but I'll find him, he said. Very well, as a precaution, I will send Kimimaro along with you. You two are dismissed, pack whatever you need, and begin your search immediately. Both of them quickly made their way off once he was gone. The red-haired puppeteer Sorcery spoke up. I also know of a suitable recruit, he said. I'm sure that you know of the son in Orochimaru. Why not recruit him? After all, he's from Konoha, one of the main villages. His power and knowledge will be a great benefit. I have worked with him in the past, and I truly believe he will make a fine addition to the Akatsuki. Yes, I remember him. Leave now and search for his whereabouts. I'm sure with all of your sources it should not take too long. However, Orochimaru is certainly powerful, but he's known to be cunning. Do not fight him head on, instead. Use your chemical skills and win the battle before it even begins. Sorcery nodded as he then made his way off. Konan then got up as she made her way, as she sat in Yaiko's lap. I guess that just leave you and me to find someone together, she said. Yes, he said, and I'm sure, with your paper abilities, it should not take us that long to find one. Also, I have not heard of any possible recruits from the Hidden Stone at all. That leaves some of smaller villages. Perhaps we can turn to Yukigakure. No, she said. It's way too cold there. That's beyond the point, he said. I don't want to go anywhere cold or wet. We have to go to some place warm and exotic. It will be like a vacation from our village. Despite his previous statements, he couldn't help but agree with her. Alright, how about the grass? It's warm there, and it's certainly exotic with all the grass and plants. She squealed in excitement. She couldn't even remember the last time she saw a tree. I see, he said, loving her excitement. The grass it is. Time skip, Konoha, Academy, morning. Naruto yawned as he walked into the classroom. As he was right on time. As much as Mizuki or Iruka want him to be late, they were wrong as Naruto was right on time. Thank you for attending, Naruto, Iruka said in a sarcastic tone, though there was no hate behind his words. You may take your seat. In 2 years he will become a ninja. Despite his grades show that he was flunking, he was actually enjoying the class. Iruka had caught on to his plan, he was sure of it, while others believed that he was as stupid as his test scores show. Iruka knew that he was acting. It did not take a genius to know that Naruto was, well, a genius. For Kame's sake, he had survived on his own for at least a year or so. There is no way an idiot can survive in a world where everyone is hoping for his death. Iruka saw as Naruto take his seat next to the soft-spoken Senju and the brilliant Uchiha. Iruka knew that he was a genius and he was sure of it. Naruto had the bare minimum grade that he knew. He would need to take the exams. Alright everyone, quiet down, Mizuki said. Class is about to begin. I hope you all study for your practical because today's test is gonna be hard. The class groaned. Don't be upset, Iruka said. We've been studying the material for several weeks now. I'm sure that you will all do fine. Everyone, come to the front. Naruto stood up next to Sasuke. Yo, Sasuke, what's this practical on? He asked. Sasuke groaned and shook his head. God, you really are an idiot, Naruto, he said. We revised this all week. You of all people should know, he said. Naruto gave him a blank look. It's on the substitution. Naruto grinned. If there was anything that he was excellent at, it was substitution, but he wasn't supposed to be good at it. And this was a big practical. If he did well, there was a chance he would pass Shikamaru and Kiba, two other slackers in the class. Naruto found himself waiting in the middle of Sasuke and some pinker girl who always sat in the front. Alright, here's how this is gonna work, said Mizuki. Iruka is gonna place the log on the ground. That is the object that you're gonna replace yourself with. Yeah, and the log is pretty big too, Iruka said, placing the log down. So it should be easy to find you when the actual substituting. Some of them were nervous that they could not do it that far. Alright, Mizuki said, here's the fun part. Because it's the third year, you're gonna be a bit under pressure. I'm going to bump you on the head when the substitute is supposed to be activated. The pinker girl next to Naruto placed her hand on her hip. I can do it easily. Shut up, Sakura. A blonde-haired girl on the other side said. You're just trying to impress Sasuke. As Naruto looked towards the pinker girl, she was a bit cute. It seems like Sasuke is a fangirl. As Uchiha was talking to Shikamaru, completely oblivious of all of this. No, Sakura said, not wanting anyone to hear the conversation, especially seeing that Sasuke was now looking their way. No, I'm not, she said. Ino smirked, glad that she hit a spot on the form of the shy girl. Well, you're gonna have to impress him with this test, cause you're definitely not gonna impress him with that giant forehead of yours. As Naruto saw Sakura cringe, as he wondered what was up with her forehead, it looked normal to him. Well, she stuttered out, trying to defend herself. She was shy for the first 2 years of the academy. She had just started to come out of her shell. Still, she was really subconscious about her forehead, as she wore her hair over it. Why are you stuttering? Ino said. You think with such a big forehead you'll be smarter. If only your big brain will make your ninja skills better, then you will be able to impress Sasuke. Both of you are gonna have to step up your game, if you think you can win Sasuke over with that E-rank jutsu. Naruto commented, taking the spotlight off Sakura. Shut up, Naruto, Ino said, folding her arms. It's not like you will ever be able to perform a jutsu. I'm surprised you know what a jutsu is anyway. As Naruto shrugged, not caring what she had to say. She was just a really annoying girl. You should not take that from a weakling. Naruto was surprised that he no longer flinched when he heard the voice in his head. I won't waste my time, Naruto said. That girl is just like the other ignorant fools in this village. They cannot see raw power at its purest form. Hey, I'm not that talented. You make me seem like some sort of Kage. The voice chuckled. But you have me, and that makes you stronger than any Kage. This time Naruto snorted out loud. The only thing you help me with is test answers, which I already know. One day you will learn to appreciate my knowledge. One day the time will come when you will have to. Do you know how to do the substitution? Naruto was snapped from his thoughts as he looked up. That one girl from before, the pink hair one. He forgot her name and said something to him. She repeated herself. Do you know how to do the substitution? She said. Her pink hair covered her forehead, giving her a sadly depressed look. She seemed pretty cute. Why wouldn't I be able to? Naruto responded instead of giving her a straight answer. I don't know. You have the worst grade in the class. I could teach you really quickly if you wanted, she said. A popping sound could be heard as he looked to see. Shino performed the technique flawlessly. The girl then spoke. Well, do you want me to teach you, she said. Nah, I think I'm gonna be fine, said Naruto. It doesn't look that hard, said Naruto. Sakura sighed. Naruto was an oddball, but he was also Uchiha despite him being adopted into the clan. That meant he was like a brother to Sasuke. She did not understand how a Uchiha, adopted or not, could be this bad as Naruto was. At, well, basically everything. And yet, he never seemed worried about his skill level or the fact that others made fun of him for it. In fact, he seemed really confident. Ino was able to use the technique successfully. Sakura went next, as Naruto noticed that they were using hand signs. Why was using hand signs allowed? The point was to surprise the enemy. Naruto did not have to do that. After all, if the enemy saw what you were doing, they wouldn't be surprised. Ready, Sakura? Mizuki said. She nodded. Poof. As she replaced herself with a log, as Mizuki bumped the log on the head. Very good, Aruka said. You can return to your seat, Sakura. A new confidence in her step, she walked back to her seat. There was a few snickering as Naruto stepped up, as he thought that he would do bad as usual. He should really show those weaklings what he can do. That's more like it. The voice said in his head. You're correct. They're weaklings. You should not care what they think about you. They're only condemning yourselves further. Whatever, said Naruto. You're too arrogant for your own good. You have no idea how powerful. You should watch out. Watch out for what? Naruto saw a fist coming towards his head. Naruto tilted his head just in time. As Naruto heard laughing. Damn it, Naruto, Mizuki said. You're not supposed to dodge the attack. You're supposed to use a substitution. Naruto almost forgot what he was doing. Sometime when he talked with the voice, his mind got a bit jumbled up. Well, what's the point of me substituting when I can avoid the attack by moving my head, said Naruto. The class started to laugh, further irritating Mizuki. Mizuki took the bait as he pulled his fist back and punched forward, as hard as he could. But this time Naruto did not dodge, as Mizuki's fist hit him right in the face, throwing him back into the decks. As Naruto's head hit the decks hard, his body fell lifelessly down to the ground. The class went silent, as Mizuki looked towards his fist where the liquid was, as well as the decks where the red liquid was. There's blood all over the decks, a girl shouted. Mizuki started to stutter as he looked towards a pool of blood on the floor. This was bad. He lost control, and he punched too hard, seriously injuring Naruto. If Fukaku heard that the Uchiha was knocked out in class by him, that was until Sasuke snorted, as the body erupted into smoke, revealing a kunai in place. Iruka looked down as the log was still there. Naruto had substituted but not with the log. How could he use the substitution with an object that was not even here, that was advanced, and the body had remained for a long period of time that showed mastery of the technique? Mizuki thought that he caught Naruto off guard, but Naruto actually used the substitution perfectly. He also used it without seals. He looked down towards his bloody fist, but it was now clean. Where did he go? Sasuke whispered. Towards Hinata. I lit the pulse of her eyes as she looked up. He's on the roof, she said. But guys, be and subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification as he posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in social media platform. And don't forget to go ahead and check out the other What Ifs, guys. I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Awakened his members and powers at the Land of Waves, so go ahead, check that out, and enjoy, guys. I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto went to the Konosuba universe, so go ahead, check out that, and enjoy, guys. And remember, if you're new, yes, I did have 4 channels, so go ahead, check them out, links will be down in the description. But now, I'm out of here, see you guys soon. Peace, guys.